That's nice. Well, the teacher teaching, huh?
Yes, teacher.
Teaching the teacher.
Teachers are important.
So I was turned on to you back in 1975 when your first record came out. Didn't come out here in the United States until I think it was 76, but it was an XRT, WXRT 93.1 here in Chicago, and they started playing your first single, which I thought was, I could be wrong, but I thought it was Magic Man. It was great. People loved it, and we couldn't wait for the band to come over. And he had great influences. You can hear so many wonderful bands that in your vocabulary. And I was just wondering, making that record, I thought you guys were from Vancouver, but I was told you were from Seattle. Can you tell us one of the reasons why you guys chose Vancouver to make your first record?
Yeah, it's kind of a long and winding story, so I'll try to put it in a nutshell. But when Ann met the guys that started Heart, which was called White Heart at the time, around Seattle area, the guy, Roger Fisher, the guitar player's brother, had been a draft evader in Vancouver, BC, who snuck over the border to come see these guys rehearse in somebody's basement. And Ann and Mike Fisher just went, they fell in love. And he had to go back over the border to evade the draft at the time, during the Vietnam War. And so she followed him there. She went to Vancouver with a backpack, a guitar, and a thumb, and hitchhiked up there.
Wow.
Being the dogged Marine Corps girl that we both are. And she managed to get up there eventually because they turned her away at first. And the rest of the band went, hey, where'd that singer go? Because they don't grow those kind of singers on trees.
No.
And so everyone else moved up to Vancouver to follow. And so the band moved to where Ann went.
Nice.
And I kind of moved up there off and on between university stints. During the summers, I'd sit in and play with Heart, do stuff like Yes and Zeppelin and some original stuff that we worked on between a couple college years I did. And eventually everybody knew I would join the band, and I did. And it was like, the open invitation was finally accepted, but I was happy that I did some of the educational stuff first, because I brought a lot to the band by doing that.
And you said you were called White Heart when you first came out. Wasn't it the Army first and then White Heart, or no?
It was the Army before Ann was in it.
Yeah.
Then it was White Heart when Ann joined it. They shortened it to Heart before I joined.
And was the band ever called Hocus Pocus?
It was before. Hocus Pocus was another band before the Heart people got into Ann's world.
They're from I think the Netherlands.
Hocus Pocus, yes. Hocus
They were
Pocus.
called Focus, right? They had a single called Hocus Pocus. I remember that.
Yeah, there was a band called Focus, and the song was Hocus Pocus, but Ann had another local band, which was not from the Netherlands, that was also called the Hocus Pocus, which is very confusing. She had a band called The Boy and His Dog. Before that, we had bands, little folky kind of bands together, top 40, cover bands, called Rapunzel, and stuff like that. We had one called The Viewpoints, where we did protest songs. The Viewpoints did protest songs. So, it goes way back, way back. But we were singing and playing together forever.
Can you tell us a little bit about making that record, that first album, where you guys all in the studio, you plug in together, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you start playing, or was it just starting one thing at a time with drums? It's usually how rock records are made.
Well, nowadays they compartmentalize things a lot more, digitally too. But then when we started working on Dreamboat Annie, we baffle ourselves and play all in one room at the same time, and go listen to playbacks and fix the song and sort of write the song and arrange the song and get take after take after take after take after take until I have blisters on my fingers,
Right.
Yeah. And you get the magic take, and you know which one it is because you listen to each and every one of them, where the magic kind of passes through the take. And once in a while, there's like the perfect first half here, but the perfect last half there on the other. So like take the actual physical tape with a razor blade, cut it. There's no safeties, no backups. Otherwise, you have to do it all over again. Capture the magic and splice it together and hope that you did it in the right spot so the drums don't pick up, so the beat doesn't shift. So that was very, very analog days. And then you can hear the sound of the analog tape, the physical tape, which is, you know, I gotta say, pretty superior to a lot of the, just like listening on your phone like everybody does now.
And you made that record, and it was, I think it went to like number 9 on the Billboard Top 200. It was a smash out here. I know Chicago really loved you guys. And you went on tour right after that, correct? Did you find a tour?
Yes.
What was your first tour?
We sort of broke around this area first in the States. It was, you know, the Midwest, the Plains, then it kind of grew region by region. We went to every radio station and met every single program director in person with a rent-a-car. And it sort of gradually gravitated regionally towards the West Coast. And the New York area was the last. The East Coast was the last bastion of holdouts before they liked us. But we got offers right away for the tours, and we were playing in a terrible little place called the Inferno Tavern outside Vancouver, BC, where it was a disco sort of dinner dance club with live music, and we were the live music. But the food was so bad, it tasted like Lysol. And Anne said something on stage, from the stage, that just, watch out for the food, it tastes kind of like Lysol. And we were fired on the spot. But luckily the same, and our book actually tells the story. The same night, we got a phone call from Rod Stewart's people, seeing if we would open for them in Montreal. So we said, "See you later, Inferno," and got on the train without having made a couple of messes and, you know, leaving a few messes behind. Intentional messes were left behind. And we got on in the viewing car on top of the train. And we saw Canada from the window, and it was gorgeous. And we got to Montreal. We played for Rod Stewart. And they'd already heard our music. Some people really already liked, I think it was Magic Band up there. And when we came out and played, we thought, oh, they're just going to go, yeah, whatever, where's Rod Stewart? They started lining up their lighters. And we saw 1 million lighters light up. And it was like the first big stage and the first big moment. It was completely, you know, fateful.
Was it just one show you did with Rod Stewart, and that was it, the Montreal?
No, we toured with him.
Then you went on the whole tour?
We did a leg of a tour with him.
So Rod Stewart indirectly helped break the band.
He did. He absolutely did.
It was Faces,
He was-
right? It was Faces.
Hmm?
It was Faces,
The band
right?
Faces.
The Faces, yeah, Rod Stewart and the Faces.
Wow.
Yes. And before the Small Faces. Yeah.
What a great band that was, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really great. And Rod Stewart was so great, but he was such a roly-poly, you know. He just roll and tumble and do his sort of soccer rocker thing. And really cute. Yeah. Really good, too.
I gotta say, I looked at your discography, and 64 singles, which is unheard of, okay, for any band. And a lot of great, talented musicians
And
that
they're
are
all
here right
good.
now. They really are terrific. And the average life expectancy for any band is like 3, 4, 5 years. So
That's true.
for 64 singles and 35 million plus records, so come on, you guys, it's somebody. Really an honor. So very good.
Well, you know, we're Marine Corps brats, so we don't take no easily.
I am too. So.
You are.
Yeah, my father was in the military. Any questions for Nancy? Anybody? Go ahead, honey.
Nancy, can you explain how you do your musical scores? Like, is there a set pattern?
She
that
wants
you
to know
have?
how you write your musical scores. There a set pattern?
How
Because
that's
we know you
processed.
do a lot of movies and
How do I approach the
soundtracks.
score music?
How do you approach that?
Um, I approach it more like a songwriter would write a song. A lot of times you write music to a picture and you're making an atmosphere on the spot in a big room to, screen. But I've always been more of a songwriter in my head, even if there's no lyrics. And so, for instance, on Jerry Maguire, there was no real budget because it was my first dipping my toe into the scoring world. So what I did was I went down to Costco. This is like 1995. Went down to Costco, got myself one of those little TVs with a cassette, player in, plugged it in, put the cassette in, saw the scene in the room that I was recording in, and counted in to the spot, and just played to this tiny TV. So it was very lo-fi, and all the music of Jerry Maguire I did myself, percussion, everything, keyboards, everything else. But it was all just in a friend of mine's house. There was no soundproofing. If you listen carefully, there's garbage trucks and dogs. And to me, that was part of the atmosphere that gave it its charm.
That's nice.
Nobody works that way nowadays, but
I was in Jerry Maguire, by the way, too.
you were in Jerry Maguire.
One song, couple of seconds, Town Cruises turn the radio knobs, and it comes on for 2
Oh,
seconds.
that's right. That's
I
right.
got paid $50,000 for it, so that was really good.
Yeah.
Question.
A lot of us are going to be intimidated being on stage with you. But I'm wondering, as in your history, as a Canadian, you've always felt you're an honorary Canadian band as well. But when you did the Kennedy Center Honors, which was unbelievably brilliant, played in front of Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, that must have had a lot of nerves.
Jeez. Yeah.
How did you get through that?
Marine Corps determination. I think, being invited to do that, there's no way you say no. It's honoring Led Zeppelin, who we've always tried to honor in our long career, and plus it was, the presidential family and all kinds of dignitaries from all over the world, and so hey, no pressure. And so so we had one day to rehearse because we had to fly all over the place to get there the day before, and we had one rehearsal. It was freezing. My hands were freezing in the rehearsal space, and so here's the big one rehearsal for Stairway to Heaven, and I started, and my fingers won't go there, and so these guys are in the band are like going, oh no. She's not as good as I thought she was. And so the one guy was going, I can ghost you. I'll just play.
Oh.
And I'll play behind you, and you can always mix it. And it's like, no. I got this.
Right.
It's just really cold in here, and I haven't had time to warm up, So, so the next day I put my, hands under Jeff's armpits before I walked out there. And my personal hand warmer. And me and Ann just took a big deep breath and looked each other straight into each other's eyes and went,
Wow.
and the main thing when you do something for so long, you might get pretty good at it after a while. And that's one of those occasions where your experience pays off, because you've done a million things where it's like, I'm really nervous and I'm going really fast, and oops, I'm going to make a mistake. Oh yeah, I already did make a mistake, because I'm just scattered all over myself. And that was one of those things where it was just a focus and bring it all to that moment and breathe through it and do it deliberately and slowly without rushing through.
Jimmy Page called it a magical performance. And Robert said that he was very honored that you took those songs and turned them into your own. Almost made it sound like it was a heart song, even though there was a Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Because Zeppelin's a big part of your vocabulary, mine too as well. Most of the musicians in here grew up listening to that stuff. And it's timeless music, one of the greatest bands of all time.
That's
So
right.
it's nice to have the love and the respect and nice kind words by those Hall of Fame musicians.
I know each one of them individually, thanked us afterward, and like Robert said, Jimmy goes, "You played that great." I was like, "You said that to me." And I just couldn't. I melted.
Yeah, it's great.
And Plant goes, "Oh man, I just dread it when I hear the beginning of that song, because everybody that tries to play that song just kills that song. It's just they murder that song. And you guys did that song great." And I was like, "Yes." And John Paul Jones too says, "Wow, way to go, way to do it right." And not to mention the fact that the people at the Kennedy Center Honors themselves had set up the tiers and tiers and tiers of, the small choir and the horn section and the strings, and then the other big choir, and then the bowler hats, all the big reveals that made it so exciting and emotional for those guys to see. Plus, Jason Bonham on drums,
Yeah,
who was a
that's
little
great.
kid
That's
growing up
terrific.
with Zeppelin
Yeah.
in all of their rehearsal spaces, and like having a little son out there of their own
Of course.
on the drums as well. So I could see why they would get emotional with that.
Question over here. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, the Zeppelin thing was also kind of done in a different way when you guys covered Battle of Evermore as Love Monsters.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, we first time I heard Battle of Evermore was at college actually, and I said, "I have to have a mandolin now. I have to go get a mandolin." So I I went down to the Sherman Clay Music Store in Portland, Oregon, found a really cool mandolin, which I still play today, and learned how to play mandolin because of that song. And I think it's just one of those songs because there's the two vocals, and it's long, but it doesn't feel long, and it's got the whole Tolkien-esque, Hobbit type of imagery that people love, and it's just sheer Zeppelin kind of thing that it's a moment, and we could do it. Like, if you could play mandolin and sing that way, then you might as well do Battle of Evermore.
Question. Go ahead, honey.
Yeah. So with I'm so excited that Roadcase Royale is like momentum. Yeah. Yes.
We're the three amigos.
Yes, we're back.
So I don't get to see it till February, but it's good you're coming.
We're
But
coming to the Forum, February.
you'd be in
Opening for
Denver
Bob Seger.
at the Pepsi Center with
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
But I had tickets to Oklahoma City. But anyways, but
Yeah.
I'm behind you. So are you guys gonna do some more recording? Are you thinking? I mean, I know you guys are like trying to get
We've
the.
been recording some live stuff
Oh yeah.
because
cool.
we're already sort of, in that.
Yeah.
The album First Things First
Yeah.
that we put out last year,
Yeah.
we just kind of wanted to reignite it if possible because
Yeah.
it was starting to get a little bit of momentum
Yeah.
because
Oh,
we were
absolutely.
out opening for Bob Seger.
Yeah.
That's all that.
And then, of course, that had to be all postponed for
I
about a year.
know. I know.
So we were like, "Wah."
We'll just put it out there on
Yeah.
blast again. So
Yeah, so
Yeah.
those songs are
So-
maybe new again.
yeah.
That's a
That's
good tour,
cool.
too, with Bob Seger. So many
Yes.
smash hits. Wow.
His
What a great artist.
songwriting,
One of the greatest songwriters of our
great
generation.
singer too. I mean,
Yeah, I love him. I
His whole
absolutely love him with
band.
that.
yeah.
Yes, go ahead. Question? Yes.
What is your favorite song you like to cover?
What's your favorite song you like to
Cover?
cover, Nancy?
Wow. Just one. It's so impossible to pick one. If it's an acoustic song, it would be Kathy's Song by Paul Simon. I guess that was Simon. And for a big rocker, it's probably like Black Dog.
I love that one.
Yeah.
That's quite a challenge too.
There's that one part. I just got to play that with Slash.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Yeah.
So how has the music business changed from your perspective from Barracuda to now? What's different? What do you think is good? What's bad?
It's changed, you know, it's unrecognizable, business-wise now. It's really, it's streaming, it's the streaming kind of thing now. And it's hard to even, put a face on who's popular anymore, because for one thing, a lot of the pop music sounds very similar because a lot of the singers are auto-tuned, and you can't tell who's who anymore
Right.
between singers, you know. Everybody
Yeah.
And as far as the business is, it's sort of more like a YouTube viral streaming situation where people find their favorite things and share it.
Yeah.
And that's where it's at now. So you can't like find that in Billboard, in magazine, really.
So
Yeah.
no more slimy executives and things like that?
Oh no, they'll be
They're
there
still
forever.
there.
Yeah. That's not going away.
In the old days, we weren't you weren't allowed to sell records at the shows either, you know, because
Oh,
we
yeah.
were in bed with all the record stores. So,
That's right.
you know, if you wanted them to order your record and put your posters up and stuff, you couldn't sell your records at the shows. Nowadays, you can sell CDs, you can sell albums, you can sell, you know, meet and greets. So there's other ways to around the business to, or the fans, all of us fans want to talk and meet you and take pictures with you. So if you want to do that at concerts now, it's not just about buying a ticket, sitting out and watching the show. You can actually interact with the band after the show by paying for a meet and greet or just waiting for some artists
Yeah.
will actually come to the merch booth and want to meet the fans,
Yeah.
which is real nice. Another question? Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I have, by the way, thank you for spending some time with us.
Oh,
Huge
you're so
fan.
welcome.
A guitar geek question. What I call the Nancy secret sauce are those gorgeous open note chord voicings that are very
Thank you.
unusual and sussy that you
Yeah.
use. Talk a little bit about how you came up with those. Because that, I think,
Yes.
is really distinct.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm a very big fan of Joni Mitchell, who herself plays in a lot of different inventive type tunings with a lot of open ringing strings involved. But in my case, being in a situation where I don't always at a hootenanny or on a stage, I just don't have a lot of extra acoustic guitars with different tunings. So I sort of developed my own theory on how to play a bar, a major bar, for example. You take off the bottom few strings and let them ring. Heartless. And a lot of positions work that way up and down the neck. Or your open E instead of a major. Just keep the open, not slides round. So it's just, you know, kind of using the available open strings on the bottom most of all. Or just a tuned down drop D or a double drop D. It's pretty easy and quick to get in and out of, you know, if you're on you don't want a time crunch on a rock stage. So yeah, I guess that's the basic. It's nothing too mysterious, really.
Very distinct.
Thank you. I love the dissonance.
We got time for a couple more questions, then we got to get back and we start rehearsing. Over here, to my right.
Yes, I was wondering what your songwriting, do you write within the group, do you have own songwriters? Does anybody pick songs for you and things like that, or
Yeah.
just stay within?
Well, all of the above. In the 80s, we were sort of dissuaded from writing our own material. We started out writing everything the first 4 or 5 years, and then the era change shifted with MTV, and there was then a big stable of LA hit
Desmond
songwriters,
Child, Diane Warren.
Holly Knight.
Got great writers.
Really great writers with massive hits. It's big, but that's when that era became more corporatized as far as the creative aspect of bands like us, bands like you guys, bands like Aerosmith, there was a sort of a obligation to do these other songwriters' songs on your album, and have one of those hits, make money for the record companies, and you guys probably still wrote some of your own stuff, but those became deep tracks and nobody pushed them for you. So that was the same with us. Later on, we kind of took the reins back and started writing our own stuff again with stuff like Red Velvet Car and Fanatic,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
the last one we did,
Jupiter's,
Wait.
Jupiter's Darling.
Jupiter's Darling.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
my
was
God.
excellent.
as well as the last one we did, Beautiful
Yeah,
Broken.
beautiful broken. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Popular thing as you were, they had enough clout or whatever to make you do this? I mean, wasn't that?
Well, they would, yeah, they actually were like, so we were trying to revive our career after our 5-year lifespan was done, and we were trying to get, reinvented, and this was the new method by which you could still be taken seriously by the management label.
When you look
You
back,
had to do the videos,
Right.
you had to do the MTV, put on the heels and the hair and the this, and it worked. I'm not,
When you look back at it, skipping the videos, let's say, which I like, but that's different. Using other songwriters and stuff, was it partially good, or do you look back and say, geez, I could have done without that?
well, it's always a double-edged sword, there's some really great songs like Alone and These Dreams, and some other ones that came out of that time, What About Love, that we'd still like to do. But there were situations where we'd sit in a room with the producer, listening to demo after demo after demo of people writing stuff that really didn't fit our personality. It was like we've rarely been able to pull off a song that's a victim, kind of a girlfriend, boyfriend, victim type song, because we never came from that place. So it was never much of a fit for us to be like, oh, why? Why not me? And or you hurt me, or whatever the song is. And we always came from that stronger place. So there were some songs that worked out great, like Alone is kind of a song with that theme, but it's just such a beautiful piece of craftsmanship, and it could have been written in any era of music. It could have been the 20s or anything. Pagliacci could have sung that song, So anyway, I go on.
Well, we got time for one more question. Okay.
Now, when you started out, and quite young, you didn't have all the electronics and stuff. So how did you teach yourself how to tune?
How to
Tune.
tune.
To tune.
Well, I have an ear. I have an ear. I came from a real musical family, and so you can tell when things are tuned or not tuned.
Okay.
But and playing a little
like,
piano, you can hear the intervals and how they line up with your ear. Plus, if you, like I did, I got the Mel Bay guitar book.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody has a Mel Bay book, right? It's
Yeah.
still out there, and it shows you how to tune to like either a piano or to a pitchfork.
Whatever's handy.
One more question we'll take, and then
Lynn.
go ahead back there. I know you've been wanting to talk.
So maybe Nancy, you're a mom now, and
Yeah.
maybe some perspective of being, a rock and roll girl in the 70s and 80s and bands, and arguably the most male dominant thing in the world. Maybe some perspective or stories, or
Yeah, just surviving as a girl in music business, kind of.
just rock and roll, 70s and 80s.
Well, come again back to the military example, and also because me and Ann had each other as two friends and sisters, we were the creators, we were the front people already, which was kind of unheard of, you know, at the time. So we felt we had some clout there, and we could do what we wanted to do with the band and present as front people of the band, and not be sort of bothered by like, oh, you like sexism, you. Don't say that to me, you know, just like brushing that stuff off, because we were hell bent to be able to be on stages and write music and make music, and I never thought I would do anything else, and I never did. I never actually had a real job because I was 9. I was about 19 out of college with Heart, and other than babysitting and guitar lessons,
That's it.
I tried to, you know, get a job at a gas station. They didn't take me. I could fix cars, but you know, not girls. So we didn't really stop for relationships. We just were career driven to the point where I started with my own family quite late, you know, after my career had revived again and again a few times. And as of last week, my 2 18-year-old twin sons have graduated. They're both going to college. You know, I did something right. But they came on the tour bus and changed a few diapers on the tour bus along the way, and we, you just stay semper gumby, you know, you're flexible, and if someone's at home base that can help out, that's even better. If you're on the road.
It's hard to believe you have 2 18-year-olds. What you have when you're 12, 13 years old? She looked terrific.
Right.
Doesn't she look great? Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So let's all get back to our class. We're going to be playing with Nancy today, and great, everybody showed up here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Put your hands together, Nancy Wilson. Very honor here for rocking our thing on Super. Thank you so much, Nancy.
Thanks. Always love talking about
Yeah, I love talking to you.